The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night was a really good book, and it shows how people with autism see the world and how they can do extraordinary things, just as people with autism without autism can do. So the narrator of the story is this 15-year-old boy. His name is Christopher, and he has autism. In the story, they actually say he has Asperger's, but now that has been changed, so he just has a milder form of autism. So in the beginning of the book, Christopher talks about how he wants to be an astronaut when he's older, and how he's taking math courses, this A-level math course. He really wants to do good in school, and he wants to go to university. Well, at the beginning of the story, he also learns that this neighborhood dog named Wellington was murdered. So Christopher is really upset about this, and he discovered the dog, and the owner, Miss Shears, called the police. Well, since Christopher was the one who found the dog, the police had reason to believe that Christopher was the one who killed the dog. So the policeman tried to talk to him and grabbed him by the arm, and Christopher hit him back, as people with autism tend to not like to be touched. It's too much external stimuli, especially Christopher was unfamiliar with this person. So Christopher freaked out and he hit the police officer, which got him arrested. So Christopher is released after the misunderstanding, and he tries to investigate Miss Shears' dog's death and tries to find the murderer. So he starts talking to all these different people in the neighborhood, people he's never talked to before, and this is kind of difficult due to his autism because there's a lot of new information being thrown at him, a lot of external stimuli going on. So he writes this book about who he's talked to, what he's learned, to help him try and sort out everything that he's learned while investigating the murder. So, Christopher comes home, leaves the book on the table, and falls asleep, and his dad finds the book and got really mad and really upset at Christopher. Christopher also found all these letters that his mom wrote to his dad that was after the time that Christopher's dad said his mom died. So Christopher was kind of curious about these, started looking at the letters and was like, my mom is supposed to be dead at this time. So Christopher also left these on the table. His dad found those as well. So his dad kind of broke down and told Christopher that his mom wasn't dead, and that he was the one who killed the dog. So Christopher is kind of afraid of his dad now. He finds out that his dad was the one who killed the dog, so now Christopher is thinks that his dad is going to kill him as well. So Christopher found out that his mom is still alive, so he decides to run away to live with his mom. But during this time, it's he has to go to London to see his mom in the flat. So he takes a train there, but he is exposed to so much external stimuli during this train ride. Because of his autism, it makes him feel a little uneasy, starts to feel sick. He has to run away from the police. He has to deal with all this new information that he has just learned, such as that his dad killed the dog, his mom is still alive. He's dealing with a lot emotionally and internally and externally. And he almost gets hit by a train. Eventually, Christopher finds his mom, goes to the flat, and he starts to live his new life with his mom. And Mr. Shears, who is the person that his mom was having an affair with, that caused her to move out of the house with Christopher. Mr. Shears really wasn't accepting of Christopher's autism, as we said, and he just was not accepting of that, didn't want to get to know him, didn't want Christopher to live with them. And Christopher's mom, once Christopher found them, was like, I want my son to be a part of my life. she breaks it off with Mr. Shears, and eventually Christopher's dad gets back to the picture. And Christopher's still kind of uneasy about his dad, but his dad says that he wants to do anything and everything he can to rebuild this trust with Christopher and have a relationship with him. So Christopher's pet rat died, and he was really upset about it, and his dad buys him a puppy to try and make up for everything, and try to rebuild the relationship. But during this whole thing, Christopher is still actively trying to do good in school, is still studying. He's taking the A-level math class, and towards the end of the book, he takes his A-level math test, and he gets an A on the exam, which is really good. And he wants to take higher level math courses and a physics exam because he wants to go on to university and be the first person in his school to do so. So overall, I think the book was really good because it shows you not only that people with autism can do just as many things as people without autism can. It shows us that they're really intelligent and that they're smart and deserve a chance to do anything that they want to do. Christopher wants to go to university, and I think he deserves to go to university. I think he will go because he's really intelligent. And I think that that's really important because a lot of people, when they hear someone with autism or a disability in general, they automatically assume that that person is unintelligent. And it's actually not true. With a lot of cases of autism, they can actually be very smart, especially Asperger's, which is a very mild form of autism. I think it also shows a lot of, not so much the strengths of autism, that they can be very intelligent, but it also shows the drawbacks, such as the problems with external stimuli, the fears, internal stimuli, everything, how it can be very overwhelming. So I think that that is a very good point that the book brings up. And the book keeps everything interesting. Like, it's actually a good book. It has a good plot. And which I think is good because it makes people want to go out and read that book. And while they're reading this really good book with a really good plot and they're really interested, they're also learning about autism and how it affects people with it. Yeah, I thought it was a really good book. And I also found out that they are making, there's a play called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night. And I think that's really cool that they put it on Broadway so more people can learn about autism. Yeah.